one tournament at that point. They've gone out to lose a couple times since. But we were the first team to beat them twice. We did it in 3 days. We beat them on a Thursday, and then we beat them again on a Sunday. So we had a lot of really wonderful firsts that we accomplished. What's interesting is at the end of the tournament, they pick an all-star team. And the all-star team is made up of the 16 countries that participate in the tournament. Obviously, have 10 positions up for grabs. How many guys do you think made the all-star team from the Dutch team? Just a guess? This is the first interactive session. I know it's early. 3? Great. That's probably logical, right? We had none. Not one guy on our team made the all-star team. That was also a record. Rather dubious record. Never had a world champion not place one guy on an all-star team. But when you look at the sport and all-stars, they're usually driven statistically by offensive statistics and individual statistics, right? They don't really capture the whole idea of what a team is about. And when you look at us, we didn't really have a guy at any position that outperformed statistically another guy within the tournament. So it was kind of fair. There were guys that actually outperformed each and every one of our players statistically at those positions. But when you look collectively, we were the #1 defense in the tournament. We made 3 errors in 14 games. Okay? And the one game we lost was to Canada 2-1 in 11 innings. We made 2 of our 3 errors in that game. We were the number 2 rated team in terms of ERA, in terms of walks to innings. We were the #1 team. We were probably the 11th team in terms of batting average. And yet with runners in scoring position, we were the #3 team in the tournament. So when you look at these kinds of statistics, collective statistics, you can see that we were far better playing together than we were individually. So for me, the moral of the story is you don't have to have the 10 best players to be a world champion. You have to have the best 10 guys playing together. And that's what we did so well, because intrinsically we knew we had to play together in order to beat these giants. We couldn't be selfish in that. We had to have this idea of unity, of sacrificing ourselves, of getting that. Because in the end of the game, it's not really important what your batting average is or how many runs you scored in RBI, unless it serves the greater purpose, the collective ambition, right? How can we get more runs in the end than the opponent? And so that was what kind of gave me the goosebumps, is that journey that we took to get there. And in the end, what I want to talk to you about is what's really important to me. As you saw when I talked to my players, I said, listen, you deserve to be here, right? It's personal. And that's something I want to talk about, because within each and every person here, it's very, very important that you know that you all have one thing that drives you. And one thing that's very, very important to you is that you want to make a difference. You want to be relevant, right? You want to have a purpose in your life, meaning. And you guys have found this passion called baseball. And it's important that you understand that is what you want to tap into, that idea that I mean something, I'm relevant. I think one of the worst things to be is not invited to the party, not feel part of the team, right? That idea that you don't belong. And that's something we really want to avoid happening in our life. And so how do we know that? How do we get evidence that we matter, that we have meaning? Well, basically it comes through the way in which we influence each other, right? How we go about interacting with each other, the feedback we give each other, you know, how we make each other feel that we're relevant. So how do we do that? And once you influence, right? You influence each other. So what's crazy about it is that you're going to influence no matter what you do, all right? Whether you say hi to somebody or you walk straight by them, whether you pick up the phone and call that person back or you don't, whether you give compliments or you don't, whether you offer help or you don't, you're always influencing. And so these influences become the way in which we behave towards each other. These are what we call norms, right? The norms that guide our values, how we treat each other. And that, in turn, creates what we call a culture. And I think that, in my opinion, culture destroys strategy. Okay? If you got a great strategy, that's great. But if your culture is soft or your culture is not healthy, then what happens as soon as strategy comes under adversity? The first layer below that is going to be your culture. How do you behave? All right? So what are the norms? Is it more important for you to be right, or is it more important for us to get it right? Are you someone that is there to solve a solution, to offer a solution, or are you there to create a problem? Are you the yeah but guy, or am I the how-to guy? All these ways in which we go and interact with each other gives us an indication of how we're going to interact when stress occurs. There's a great expression I was asking for because I didn't have the attribution, but Randy gave it to me. You ever heard the expression about when stress hits, when high anxiety hits, when adversity is at its highest, People don't rise to the occasion, they sink to the level of their training. Have you heard that before? That's a SEAL motto. Am I correct in attributing that to them? And that's so true, okay? It's about what happens when the shit hits the fan, as we call it. All right? How do we react towards each other? And my feeling is we've had cultures are going to develop no matter what. Culture within any team is going to develop no matter what. And it's up to us to decide what kind of culture we're going to be. Now, I know I've experienced a number of different cultures, offshoots of these cultures. Number one, the blame culture. Familiar? All right, I call it the shaggy culture, right? It wasn't me. Right? Over here. No, it's these guys right here. No, it wasn't my fault, it was him. All right? What's the problem with the blame culture?
No accountability.
No accountability, right? Loss of power. Right? The minute you say it's someone else's fault, it's this guy, you're saying it's into them to fix it, not me. I can't do it anymore because I've already given away the power to change it. Okay? That's an unhealthy situation. All right? And if we have a blame culture, people are going to be just pointing fingers. Nobody's going to want to take the power. The second one is that complacency culture, right? That it's okay to just do enough to get by. Right? Everybody does it. We call the expression "it's good enough for government work." All right, it's a 7. It's a 70. I can do it. I can get by. It's okay. What's the problem with complacency?
It's not great.
That's not great. Okay, if you're really good at this is comfort zone activity, right? This is people in their comfort zone. I got my 3 balls in the air. I'm juggling 3 tennis balls, and man, do I look good! I just want to be there, and I just want to look good every day. I just want to be in my spot, but I don't want to take any additional risk. I don't want to take that 4th ball, or God forbid, I don't want to take anything else that's going to make me look bad. Okay, that's that stay in that comfort zone attitude. And of course, it's all based on what we call the fear culture. All right, the fear culture is driven by a desire not to make mistakes, a fear to come out of my comfort zone, to look bad, to embarrass myself. That thing is about consequences. Okay, so I don't want to make anything that's going to cause me to look embarrassed or uncomfortable. But what I want to talk about in the mindset thing is the growth mindset. Okay, that's the growth culture. Okay, and the growth culture is based on some different things, obviously. A growth culture is about handling adversity. It's all about trying to find the edge of my comfort zone and get out. So growth culture is about challenge. How do I handle challenge? All right, do I avoid it? Do I embrace it? Growth cultures embrace challenges. They look forward to it. Obstacles in their path. It's a chance to get better. Yes, I'm going to fail. I'm going to make mistakes, but every time I fail forwards. I get better. I understand that this is a journey. Listen, learning is messy. Okay, this isn't about perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. This is about the pursuit of excellence. It's a completely different thing. It's about a process-oriented, try step by step, try to get better today, a little bit incrementally. Knowing I'm going to fall down, knowing I'm going to make mistakes. Listen, if you haven't made any mistakes recently, you haven't tried anything new. Because anytime you try something new, you're going to fall down, you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes. But you fell forwards. In terms of feedback, people with a growth mindset, they understand that feedback is good for them. They're trying to understand. Someone that doesn't have that or is driven by fear doesn't want to hear anything that's not about them being good. And therefore, they stay in the same place they do. Growth mindset looks for that challenge. What can I do to get better? Give me some feedback. Let me know what I'm doing. Effort. Effort for the fear guy, he doesn't want to put too much effort in because if he puts effort in and he fails, he's going to look bad. The growth mindset looks at effort and he says, listen, this is a path to mastery. I know this is what I want to do. I'm going to connect to it. Yeah, I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to keep going because I like to grind. I know it's the work that makes the difference. Listen, you can't win without talent. We had talent. There's no doubt you cannot win without talent. But let me tell you something. Hard work beats talent, and talent refuses to work hard. You know that one? That's so true. Okay, so it is not that talent is the way it is. Talent is a starting point. It may give you an advantage. It sets you in front of some other people because you can throw harder, you can run faster. But in the end, it's the work that's going to catch it up. These guys continue to go. If you stand still right there and you hold your talent and that's all you think you need, the guy that's working hard will go by you. And the last is the success of others, which I see as the fear guy. He fears the guy that's successful. He wants him to fail. He thinks that he's a threat to him. Whereas the guy with the growth mindset, he sees that guy and he goes, how's he doing that? I'm curious. What's he doing? Let me see what I can do. Let me spin that. Let me see how I can make that my own and get a little better. He sees that as a chance to get better. And as a result, the guy with the fear mindset, the fear culture, is driven by a desire not to make mistakes. He's driven by results and rewards and outcomes because they think that's part of their self-image, who they are. I have to win. But if I think only in winning, and only in the process, in the result and the reward, then I want to make sure I get that reward. What's going to happen? Am I going to want to take risk that I might lose? Am I going to want to take on an opponent that probably beat me? Probably not. But the growth mindset's different. He's looking for the edge of that comfort zone. He's looking for what we call the stretch zone. He wants to get out of that. He wants to be challenged. That's where flow exists, right? The optimum place for growth is when you're just outside your comfort zone, right? When you're challenged, when you get that rush of adrenaline, okay, cortisol, you know this better than I do. The cortisol dopamine hit, right? That flow where you're into a task. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just in that task. You look up 2 hours go by, you go, what the hell happened? Right? You were so into what you were doing. You weren't worried about failure. You weren't worried about what just happened. You weren't worried about what might happen. You were just doing it to the best of your ability. You were right in the flow. We call it zone. Right? In the zone is right there saying, pitch for pitch, in the moment, this is what I can do, and let me go. Let my tools go. Don't think, geez, I'm having a great game. Now you're screwed. Right? Geez, I'm throwing hard. Boom, you're in trouble. Right? As soon as you start analyzing what you're doing, you're out of the flow. And it's a skill. All right? It's something you can develop. I challenge you today. How long can you stay in the moment during your drills? Just stay in the moment. Don't look up and say, oh, he's a little better than me. Oh, he's going faster. Oh, I'm better than him. That's ego, dudes. That has nothing to do with this game. In the end, it's about authenticity. Who are you? All right? What do you want? Don't let a complacent culture affect you. You see that as well. Complacent culture, guys walk in, they're really gung-ho, they want to do something, they want to achieve, they're going at it, and everybody goes, whoa, 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 take it easy, buddy, you're making us look bad. Right? Hey, don't kiss the coach's ass. Oh, come on, man, you're a brown nose. Don't do that. Really? What is actually their intent? Because it all does come down to intent, doesn't it? What is your intent today to get out of today? And are you allowed to be told by someone else that that intention is not good? What is their intent? To kind of pull you down, to make sure that you don't outperform them. Is that where you think you want to go? So anyways, this is where we were at, right? We were in this place where we were trying to challenge ourselves. Now, hey, fear's a natural thing. Fear's a natural thing. The bottom line is you've got to understand why you're doing it. Okay? As I mentioned to you, culture destroys strategy. Great if you have both. But strategy is meant to come under adversity. And adversity is the most crucial element to growth, along with this other element called passion. And when you've got passion and adversity hitting each other, man, I really want to get there, but I don't know how, but I'm going to get there. Man, this is a real challenge for me. It's put me on the edge of my ability. That's where growth is at. That's where we get better. Okay? Sitting back and being able to juggle your balls all day long, you ain't going to get any better. You're just going to become the best free ball juggler in the world. But the next level, if you want to get to the next level, and I know you guys do, they don't do that. The next level, you need to be able to juggle 2 tennis balls and an apple. And you got to eat that apple on the way. Boom, boom, boom. And the next level, you got to take a bowling ball, and you got to take that apple and that tennis ball, and you got to be able to do that, and don't eat the bowling ball. And the next level, hell, they're going with chainsaws, boys. It's chainsaws, bowling balls, and apples, and you got to make sure you don't eat that chainsaw. And that's the level you got to get to. But you can't just go from a tennis ball to the chainsaw. You'll get killed. So you got to go incrementally. And along the way, you're going to drop those tennis balls. But you're going to look to go faster. And you're going to eat you're going to eat the tennis ball instead of the apple. And it's going to taste crappy. And hopefully you're going to get used to the fact that you don't want to be doing that anymore. And you keep pushing because you're driven by that why. Why do I want to do this? And that why is basically pretty simple. Why is 2 components. Okay, and let me start by saying, if I told you this, you do everything you do for 2 reasons. You either want to avoid pain, or you want to gain pleasure. And more specifically, you want to avoid a negative consequence. That's the fear. I don't want to look bad. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want people to laugh at me. Or you want to create a desired outcome. We are creationists in our natural state. We love to create. It's where flow exists, is in creation. Flow does not exist in fear because dopamine is not created when I'm afraid. It's created when I want something, when it pulls me. Okay? It pulls me. It tells me where I want to go. It says, geez, I really want to be there. How do I get there? I don't know. That's my strategy. But my why, that's going to pull me. I'll find out how if my why's strong enough. I don't care what obstacles are in front of me. If that destination, if where I want to go, that journey is back there, I will find a way to climb that wall, go under it, go around it, blow it up. I don't know. I'm going to find the tools to do it. I'll find the how-to. That's skill. Skill acquisition is the how-to. Now, you're in a sport where we know exactly what the metrics are for every level that you need to reach. We know exactly spin rates. We know velo numbers. We know the numbers that light up scouts and tell them this is the guy we want. We know the tools. We know what they're looking for. Where's the gap for you? You find that gap. Where am I now? Where do I need to be to get to that level? And you start to close it. And you grind. And you might get a 1/10 of a second here and a 1/10 of a second there. And you get closer and closer. You start getting that momentum. You start getting that juice. Is this too intense for you, brother? I was in the flow. Hang on. I'm out. I got to go back in. That's where you got to go to. Okay? That place where you say, look, I know where I want to go. That's the distance. Wow, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty intimidating at points. But let me get into creation mode and find a way. Let's creep in there. There's so much talent in this place right now. But you got to tap into it each and every day, because a day lost without getting an incremental gain and an incremental failure, that's just as good. You can bet knock down, but you learn from that and you get back up and you say, okay, I learned a lot today. That's great, because tomorrow I'm going to change my strategy and I'm going to get better. Because the last component to great performing athletes and teams is that ability to adapt, right? To adjust, to evolve. It's called change. But we continue to change and look for ways to get better. We try something, we do our best with it, we get knocked down, that didn't work, let me try something a little bit different, down, and never stop it. You know, some of the greatest people we admire the most understood this concept. Thomas Edison said, I know 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. He never gave up on his dream of creating sustainable life. Because look what we got from that guy. These are the heroes of our lives. These are guys that never gave up when they got knocked down. Winston Churchill said success is failure after failure without losing enthusiasm. Just continue to grind and go, right? So these are the kind of things that I'm talking about, is that journey that you're going to take, that why. And the why is that two components. It's basically saying, listen, this is what I want, this is what I want to create, and this is what I'm prepared to give. And if you understand what you're prepared to give, and you want to go there, I'm not getting in your way, and I really fear the guy that does. Okay? But you have to stay connected to that. And there's going to be days where you feel like crap, and you don't want to get up, and you've got to tap into that and go, there it is, right there, get up. Move towards it. One step. Just one step today. Right? One step closer than I was yesterday. Maybe I get my control. Just a little bit more command on that outer half. I hit, instead of 6 out of 10, I'm hitting that 7 out of 10. Maybe I get some more depth on my breaking ball. Maybe I can command that breaking ball from the back door and the front door. Maybe I can throw that change up so the spin looks identical to my fastball. Make sure I get a little fade on it. Whatever it is. Okay? We know what those things are that we're trying to get to. Randy and his team understand how to get you there. Now it becomes this, the battle. Because when that pyramid gets tight at the top, there's 750 to 800 jobs up there. It gets there. This is the difference. Who believes they belong? Who believes in themselves, and who's continuously looking to adapt and adjust to the changes that are coming? Because the next level, boys, that's what they do best. When you play the Cubans and you throw them a pitch and they miss it and they look bad on it, and you throw that again, they will rip the shit out of that thing. Okay? Because they adjust immediately. And we learn that the hard way. But when the Cubans swing and miss on a ball and they look bad, we don't throw that pitch again. Because we adjust. And now it becomes, I know that you know that I know. But did you know I know that you know that I know, right? It's that game. And now we're both going, they know. Do they know? I don't know. And now we got them in the rocket chair, right? And then when we throw the fastball, it catches the ball balanced. But it's that ability to stay in that moment, to stay in the game and say, oh, what are they doing? Where we go? Let me adjust. Boom. Right? Hey, these hitters are taking me inside. They're jumping on my fastball in. How do I get that? How do I adjust now? Can I do it? And if you're one-dimensional and that's all you got, you're going to get ripped. And here you're getting away with it because you're in the 3-ball world. Right? 3-tennis ball world where nobody adjusts. Everybody feels good about that. Oh, look at me. I look great. The next level, these guys are going, oh, look what this guy's doing. Oh, he's got no command of the secondary. Can't get his curveball over. He's only throwing glove side fastball. Let's go. You're toast. Right? You got to be able to throw the other side. You got to throw the arm side. You got to go breaking ball over the plate. You got to get your change. You see something, you smell something, you taste something, you hear something. Okay, you feel something, what do you do first? You want to make an association. You want to make sense of it. Okay, where have I ever heard that before? Where did I see that before? Okay, you ever have that word, that jaw-dropping moment where you go, that's because your brain is fried. It's going, where the hell, I don't understand what I'm seeing. Right? It's never seen that before. But most of the time you can make an association, especially with the internet. You guys have seen stuff that it took me 30 years to see before I saw that. All right? But this is happening all the time. You make that quick association. What do? You associate, you say, okay, that's what I understand that. Now you have an evaluation of that association. You say, okay, how does that make me feel? All right? Was that a good experience? Was that a pleasant experience? Or was that a frustrating or annoying experience? You ever have somebody walk in a room and immediately, within 3 steps, you go, I don't like this guy. You never met him before. And all of a sudden you get this feeling, I don't have a good feeling about this guy. Something about his walk, maybe the way he's talking, maybe the way he's dressed, he looks. You're making these value judgments on this person immediately. We do it, all of us. It's subconscious. It's automatic. So we associate, we evaluate, we feel, and then sometimes, most times, we behave. It's an unconscious thing, and it happens in milliseconds. Right? This is going on all the time. Okay? And you filter on 2 things. You filter on 2 things. You filter on what's important to me, and how do I feel about myself versus this challenge. Skill versus challenge. Okay? This is how you filter information. And it's made up of all the experiences you've had in your life and all the influences you had in your life. Your family, your friends, the media that you watch, your religion if you have it, your politics, your nationality, your ethnicity. They all have this, the schools you go to, the organizations you belong, the teams you play for. They're all having this impact on the way in which you filter information. And we can only filter so much. Assume there's 200 people in here. Okay? And I'm filtering. And I've got this challenge, and I had this, and by the way, the more intense the experience has been, the more impact it has on the way you filter in the world. So say you had this really bad experience in public speaking in front of a bunch of ball players in the past. Didn't go well. Okay? There's 200 of you in here, and I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about that, but I come in, and it starts going okay, and I'm talking, and there's 200 people in here. You see all the data in this room right now? Assume it's 10 times as big. And this data is going on. I can't process all the data that's going on. I can't see everything. So what do? I filter on what? What's important to me. Okay? So I don't feel really good about my public speaking. And about 5 minutes in, I see number 167 out there. He goes like this. And I go, oh, shit. Here we go again. This is not going well. A minute later, these 2 guys are like this. He goes, oh, this is about me. This is going bad. This is going bad. I'm losing the crowd. I'm losing the crowd. A minute later, I see some guy on his phone like that. Ah, this is real bad. I start to get nervous, right? I get a physiological experience. I start to sweat. I start to lose my place. All of a sudden, this guy numbered back. He's looking at the ceiling like this. I'm thinking I've lost the crowd, man. This is horrible. A minute later, the guy gets up in the back and he leaves. I fall apart, right? I had this horrible, horrible presentation. I put it in my bag of presentations. I take it with me for the next experience. And I say, oh, Christ, I'm horrible at this. Now, in that experience, what happened? In that experience, the whole time I'm here, my environment is determining how I feel. I'm being influenced by my environment completely. Okay? This is what happens to us all the time. I've been watching you guys for 2 weeks, and I've been seeing how you guys allow environments, whether it be the umpire making a bad decision, the weather, the field, the opponent, whatever, influencing you and the way you go about your job. All things you have no control of, the environment. And yet you project your problem onto that, and you allow the environment to control who you are. So the effect is coming from outside to you, and then you react. I propose there's a better way. I propose that you think about creation. And when I get back to that word creation, it's about what do I want to create, what am I prepared to give. We call that mission-driven. Okay? I'm driven by my mission. And my mission is nothing more than what do I want to give to create this? And what values and the norms that go with those values do I bring to this? And very simply, I'll share you mine. My mission is every day to take action every day to help people break down the barriers that hold them back from reaching their potential. And I use integrity, I use curiosity, and I use passion. I picked 3 because it really helps me focus. And the norms that go with that in order to bring that to people. And I give that to you. Those are my gifts. And then what I get back is I get a chance to see you grow. And that gives me an enormous kick. To share my skills with you, see your growth, witness it, know I played a role. This is not altruistic behavior. I get something back. But it's not ego behavior. Ego behavior would be to help you so that everybody could show that I did it. That would be like, look at me, I'm a great coach because look at him, I did it. No, it's different, okay? It's about giving of yourself to grow your environment. And so that's what kicks me. And your perception is constantly playing this game with you. So if I let my mission, which is to grow, and I think about what I want to create in my environment, then the ripple effect comes from me to you. And then I'm filtering on completely different things. I filter on eye contact, body language, a smile, which would be really great right now. Anybody? Give me some. Thank you so much. That's what I'm feeding off of, because that's where my energy is going, to try to connect with those people, to help them. My message, that's what I believe in. So the guy who's looking at his watch, well, maybe I see that, maybe I don't, but I give it relevance, not him. I decide what it means to me. I could just as easily say, oh, too bad Farley's almost done. I wish he could keep going for a while. The two guys talking to each other, oh, this guy's great, we've got to get him again. The guy looking at the ceiling, he's going, God, this guy's touched my life, man. The guy on his phone, shit, he's on Twitter and I'm trending like crazy right now. The guy that got up and left, hell, he's going to go book me now because he knows how damn good and busy I am. That's my perception. I determine, I decide what my environment looks like. I decide what happens. I drive the agenda with a good intent to grow myself and my environment. And then when you're doing that, when your intention is positive and you're trying to give your gifts to other people to make them better, your life is going to be full of fulfillment. That's what these gentlemen and ladies does every single day. And it's wonderful to behold. To get people to get this. Grow other people. And I've seen you guys, I've seen a number of you guys do this. And it gives me great feeling that there's good in the world when I see that. And I've also seen some guys look envious and a bit uncomfortable and a bit, let's say, a lot of blame and a lot of, it's his fault, and but that was a ball, and that type of stuff. And that is what we got to get out. Get rid of it. Think about what you want to create today and for the rest of your life. Go out there and do it. You don't have to know specifically what it is because you'll find it. But if you know that why, guys, man, that how becomes a lot easier. Because that's just skill acquisition. You can do this. But if you don't have an attachment to that why, you'll probably disengage. So I'll leave you with this. It's not easy. But do not confuse difficult with impossible. It is not impossible. There are so many stories of guys with less physical tools than you guys that have been able to do it. Okay? And I don't do this. I don't do this to win. Yes, winning is a byproduct of the journey, and you take it and you get better at the process, get better at the task, get better at the behavior. Then the results start to come my way, the rewards come my way. You want to be famous? Then do what you do to the best of your ability. Get great at it. People will notice. But think about getting better at the process, task, and the behavior. Don't worry about those rewards and those outcomes and those results. They will come because you will take that pie of the result, of which you have half. Maybe the umpire, the weather, and the field, the fans have a piece, and then the opponent has a piece. You don't control the result. You control that part of the result where you can actually influence it. So get into that. Become so good that you don't make any mistakes. Become so good that you create more opportunities than the opponent. And when you create the opportunities, you execute on the opportunities more than they do. Prepare for the opportunity. Get yourself ready. Train so that when that door opens, when that opportunity comes, you're ready. Because that door doesn't open every day. But you prepare yourself for that moment. You're ready to grab it. Success is based on good judgment is based on experience, and experience is based on bad judgment. Guys, you got to make mistakes to do it. Stay in the growth zone. I wish you a lot of luck. And if you want to talk more about this, I'll be here all day. But thank you so much for your time.